Hey everybody, today is Saturday in the octave of Easter, and we're continuing in our first readings for the daily masses to work through the Acts of the Apostles. And today we're continuing the great story of Peter's healing, the miraculous cure of this man outside the temple. And of course, this is upsetting to the religious establishment, and they want to get rid of the apostles. And they make the interesting comment that, look, everybody's kind of praising them because of this miraculous work that we've done, and we can't deny it. And so they call them in and they say, you have to stop doing this. You have to stop preaching in that name. And the apostles say, look, whether it's right or wrong for us to obey you, you go ahead and decide that for yourselves. It's not possible for us not to speak of the good things we've seen and to do these good things. It's a cool story. We're told that people are kind of praising them and following them because of the great things they're doing, and that it can't be refuted. This opens up for me an interesting idea about the fundamental orientation of our moral life as Catholics and the fundamental orientation of our evangelizing work. A lot of times Catholic morality is conceived of wrongly, I think, in terms simply of evading what's incorrect. What you should not do. Kids will come up to me and say, well, Father, why is it wrong for me to do this? And that's always such a funny question, because my gut reaction is always to say, well, why is it right? What we see in this story is the gospel orientation is an orientation towards living out and doing great, great things. Nobody at a funeral gets up and talks about their loved one and says, well, he wasn't that bad of a guy. We talk about these are all the wonderful things that he did or that she did. And that's kind of the power that we hear in the witness of the apostles. It can't be refuted because it's just great stuff that they're doing. And with that, there's something to be said about evangelization as well. This is a church that leads in the preaching of the kingdom by way of doing great and wonderful things for people. And there's not really an authority or an argument against great, wonderful things. We have a richly intellectual tradition. We have a lot to say, but it's very hard to witness to that tradition and to connect it in meaningful ways to people's lives unless we lead with, our commitment to doing great, wonderful things and allowing those great and wonderful things to speak. We get it backwards sometimes trying to instruct, and the reaction we get is the reaction that the apostles give to the Sanhedrin. You decide among yourselves whether we should be doing this or doing that. We just have to do what we know is good. And that's certainly at the center and at the beginning of our preaching of the gospel as a historical church. And I think it represents an important pedagogy for the church of today. God bless.